We're back on this Monday morning, 6:44. As you're heading out the door for work, we want to just say good morning to you. I hope that you're having a great day so far. Taking a live look over Billings from our Stockman Bank iCam. It's going to be a great day. It really is. And thanks for joining us. I'm Andrea Lutz. Victoria has the morning off today. We begin at the state capitol this morning. That's where a court battle is heating up between Republicans and state judiciary. Sunday, the Montana Supreme Court took rare action. The GOP trying to acquire internal emails from the judiciary in an attempt to reveal political bias from judges. Lawmakers are able to get a subpoena and given a batch of emails just last week, but yesterday, Montana Supreme Court ordered no more emails can be produced. The High Court then set a hearing scheduled to attempt to settle the issue. Protests erupt in Minnesota following a deadly shooting at the hands of a police officer during a traffic stop. The demonstrations over the death of 20-year-old Duante Wright went well into the night, with the local mayor eventually declaring a curfew. The shooting comes as the state continues to grapple with the high-profile Derek Chauvin murder trial. In that case, the prosecution is expected to wrap up early this week. More than 700 people have now died from COVID-19, making up more than just part of the 560,000 Americans who have already died since the pandemic began. Health experts blame more contagious variants for a surge in the upper Midwest, and officials hope to get more vaccines out to fight the outbreak. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer is pleading with the White House for more shots, but while the White House is sending personnel to Michigan to help administer those doses faster, it's not going to be sending additional doses. In fact, there seems to be a speed bump in vaccine distribution overall. America's supply of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will plunge 86% this week because of a contamination issue at a production plant. Still, many officials believe the nation's supply will soon outstrip demand. More than 1 in 5 Americans are fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and nearly 80% of people 65 and older have had at least one dose. The U.S. is averaging more than 3 million shots a day. Scientists say the COVID-19 variant can transfer more easily and cause more extreme side effects. As Dan Grossman explains, this puts children and young adults at higher risk.
Cause and effect, two concepts that are commonly understood.
The B.1.1.7 variant, the one originally found in the United Kingdom, has really fundamentally changed the game.
In this case, the former is easy. Dr. Michael Ostrom, director of infectious disease research at the University of Minnesota, explained it right there. He'll also explain the effect right here.
It's not that kids are more impacted, it's just how they are impacted.
Across the country, variant cases of COVID-19 are ticking higher. In Michigan, they make up 46% of active cases. In Colorado, 43%. In Florida, 45%. And in California, variants of the coronavirus make up a whopping 67% of active cases right now.
It is clearly more contagious, and it is likely to be more deadly. Because it's more contagious, more people are getting infected than would have gotten infected normally.
Cause and effect. Dr. Paul Offit sees it each day. He's the director of the vaccination center at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and says right now more kids are in his care for COVID symptoms than ever before.
Not all schools are equally good at certain mitigation strategies for masking and social distancing. So I think those things are all combining to make it now somewhat more common in children.
The B.1.1.7 variant of COVID, also known as the UK variant, is the most common in kids. Researchers say it can spread over longer distances and can cause more extreme versions of the side effects we all know about. Another reason it's affecting kids more directly is the fact that they're the lowest on the vaccine totem pole. CDC data shows 55% of seniors in the U.S. have been fully vaccinated, and 75% have received their first dose.
I think a lot of people don't realize just how much disease there has been in younger people.
To mitigate these effects, the same rules apply. Social distance, sanitize, and mask up as more states start to make children, teens, and young adults eligible for the vaccine. I'm Dan Grossman.
Well, still things are getting back to normal across the country and around the globe. Some schools in Los Angeles are reopening this week, Utah becoming the 12th state to lift its mask mandate over the weekend. And today marks the first time since January people in the UK can visit non-essential shops, things like hair salons and gyms. 60% of the adult population have received their first shot. Starting today, people can apply for federal help to cover funeral expenses for loved ones who died from COVID-19. FEMA is offering to reimburse people up to $9,000 a funeral. Households who lost more than one family member can receive up to $35,000. Well, the deaths would need to occur after January 20th of 2020. Applicants will need to provide FEMA and give them the cause of death, along with that paperwork on funeral costs. People who qualify can get more information on FEMA's website. President Joe Biden is quickly approaching his 100th day in office, and one issue that's widely talked about is student loan debt and whether the president can cancel it. Joe St. George looks at if a decision could be made soon.
The average college student is now graduating with over $30,000 in student loan debt. That's around $6,300 more than borrowers from the class of 2009, according to U.S. News & World Report. But where does canceling $50,000 per person in student loan debt stand with President Biden? Well, during the campaign, he promised to cancel $10,000 per student in debt. But when he was asked about canceling $50,000 in February,
I will not make that happen.
He flat out rejected the idea, but since then, the White House has announced a review.
It's both a policy review and a legal review. So Department of Education and Department of Justice to look at what the options are and what authority could be recommended to the president.
But the big question you may be wondering is timeline. How soon could any of this happen? After all, D.C. reviews can sometimes take years.
Well, you shouldn't expect any news for at least several weeks. That's because federal student loan payments are still suspended until September 30th.
If the president allows student loan payments to begin in October, you potentially could look for the review to be over around then and perhaps some news. Of course, we don't know what the review will find. One thing we do know is that Congress could cancel debt if they wanted to legally right now. The president says he would sign that legislation, but so far, those proposals don't have enough votes to get through. Your best hope at debt relief right now remains in the hands of one man, and that decision looks to be a while away. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
The chair of the Federal Reserve says the economy is showing signs of an extended period of growth and job creation. But the agency has no plans to raise the interest rate, which currently is nearly zero. Almost 1 million jobs were added in March, and the unemployment rate fell from 6.2% to 6%. Experts say economic growth will happen faster as long as the spread of COVID cases remain under control. There is some great news for skiers and boarders out there. Red Lodge Mountain extending their season. This weekend, the resort will open for 2 extra days, Saturday and Sunday. But yesterday was supposed to be the last day of the season. But the snow has been so good that officials couldn't resist offering their customers a few more runs. And there's also some more good news. If you have a season pass, it will still be accepted for the bonus weekend. And coming this summer to Montana, the return of live music. After canceling their 2020 event, the Lewis and Clark Brewing Company will move forward with the 2021 Bob Marshall Music Festival. It happens in Seeley Lake. Officials say 75% of ticket buyers from 2020 opted to transfer to this year's festival. The event has a capacity limit of 1,000 people every single day, and it will move to the first weekend of August.
So we're really excited about this year. Of course, right now, if we were to do it today, it wouldn't be possible, but they are anticipating, and we are anticipating, that as we move forward with increased vaccinations and all the other good things, that numbers will continue to come down and that we will be in a mode where we won't have the restrictions in August.
And if new restrictions are implemented, the festival plans to announce changes 30 days prior to the event. So pets are such an important part of our families, but what happens when a service member is deployed and can't take them with them? Maya Rodriguez introduces us to a nonprofit that's come up with a solution.
Good girl.
For Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Phillip Shapiro.
I've always been a really big dog person.
And his dog, Linda.
She loves it out here. Yeah.
It's all about the simple things in life.
Going on her walks are her favorite thing.
But going on a walk is no small feat for Linda.
Oh, are you excited? I knew she had an injured leg.
The year was 2014, and Lieutenant Colonel Shapiro found himself deployed to Bulgaria.
I was a C-130 pilot for about 9 years. I went out as part of a joint exercise with the Bulgarian Air Force, and the first day we showed up, there was Linda.
Linda was a stray and not in good shape. She had been shot in the leg. Lieutenant Colonel Shapiro fed her, got her to a vet, and decided to bring her back to the U.S. with him. But in the back of his mind, he knew any future deployment might present an issue.
I was a single guy at the time and had a new responsibility with Linda, and I had an idea that I was going to need help.
That's when he got to know the nonprofit, Dogs on Deployment.
It really is a very tangible way to reduce the stress of our service members.
The group's founder and CEO, Elisa Johnson.
I was active duty. I know the stress of that life.
In the 10 years since Dogs on Deployment began, the group has helped more than 2,400 pets all across the country find temporary foster homes while their military owners are deployed.
One of the great things about Dogs on Deployment is it really provides the opportunity for anybody to get involved and directly impact a service member's life and for a positive cause.
Once a volunteer, called a pet boarder, is checked out,
they meet the pet owner and then a placement is made. So we really rely on our supporters to help us get that word out organically.
Good girl.
Lieutenant Colonel Shapiro hasn't had to use their service yet. Come here. But he entered Linda in an online contest to be the organization's mascot for the year.
I campaigned hard for Linda.
And she won, though it hasn't gone to her head.
People always remark at how calm she is. She's just a pretty, low-key dog.
A serenity earned after a tough life. In Alexandria, Virginia, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
Such a good pet story for us all on this Monday morning. Love seeing that.
It's a great story to wrap things up with. Let me tell you what's going on weather-wise. I wish I had better news for you, but we have an unsettled weather pattern that we're stuck in. We're going to be stuck between two troughs and an area of low pressure down to our south. It just sounds yummy, doesn't it? No, it's not. We're going to stay colder than normal, but here's a light at the end of the tunnel. By the time we get to the weekend, high pressure is aiming to take back over. That's going to keep things dry, warm things up, 50s by Saturday, 60s by Sunday, but not the case until we get there. Yeah, today partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. We'll stay mostly cloudy tomorrow. Here's the big thing. It's going to be colder than average this week with highs mainly in the 30s and 40s. Step out of the way this morning. There's a live shot of the sunrise with the cloud cover. Absolutely gorgeous. This is courtesy of the Stockman Bank weather cam. We've been holding steady at 29 at the Billings Airport. Humidity's at 72%. Dew points at 21. Winds out of the west at about 3 miles an hour. Those winds, not like yesterday. We saw a gust over 40 miles an hour here in Billings. Thinking maybe 20 to 25 miles an hour as we go along this afternoon into the evening. Temperatures across the board right now. We've got 28 in Jordan, Miles City at 29 as well as Broadus. Sheridan's there as well. Hardin at 28. We've got Columbus at 27. Harlanton at 21. Down in Cody at 25. Across the state right now, state capital, Helena at 29. Our cold spots look like a Cut Bank at 16. Butte at 14. Dillon at 14 as well. We've got Missoula at 28. Down in Worland at 27. Now, I talked about these troughs that we're going to be stuck in between. There's one that's just kind of lingering northeast corner of the state. Keep an eye on that area right there where we have a chance today through tomorrow night to see maybe 1 to 3 inches of accumulation, and we could see some gusty winds as well. Then we've got another one developing off to our west. That one becomes stationary, and we've got high pressure down to our south. You put this all together, we're just sandwiched in between there. Just not going to be the best week to get outdoors. We'll see some breaks for some sunshine, but a lot of cloud cover, temperatures below average, and we're looking at maybe daily rain and possibly some snow. But again, light at the end of the tunnel as we get into the weekend. High pressure aims to take over, so the weekend so far is looking pretty good. And there's that area I was talking about. Wind and weather advisory noon today through midnight tomorrow night for Daniels, Dawson, Richland, Western, Roosevelt, Webo. Between 1 to 3 inches of accumulation possible. Look at those gusts up to 35 miles an hour. With those slick roads out there, could make your commutes somewhat treacherous, especially tomorrow morning. So just FYI. Highs today, mainly in the 40s. We'll see some 30s in the northeast corner of the state. You can see a lot of cloud cover out there. Hopefully we'll see some breaks for some sunshine though. Across the state, that's basically the way it's going to look as we're going to stay below average. It's a lot of cloud cover, not only in Montana, but down in northern parts of Wyoming as well. Take a quick look at your 7-day, 44 here today in Billings, 30s and 40s for the rest of the week, except when we get to Friday, starting to rebound with the sunshine returning. Saturday and Sunday are looking a lot better than what this week is shaping up to be. Wednesday night into Thursday may be our best chance here, Andrea, in Yellowstone County and Billings, where we maybe see some accumulation. Some models are trying to push in a chance of maybe upwards of 3 inches of snow here in Billings. I'm not leaning toward that way, but there's that possibility, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that as we get closer to the middle of the week.
Okay, well, you know what? It's okay because we're used to it here in Montana. We'll just adjust as we have to.
Springtime in Montana.
We'll look forward to the next.
I'd be worried if it was different.
I would too. I really would too.
Strange.
All right, thanks for joining us on this Monday morning. Have a great day. Happy birthday, Brad.